Hello, entrepreneurship scholars. Hey, how you doing? We are really going to have some fun in this video. This video is all about global opportunities for entrepreneurs. Kind of a cool thing that I discovered in my business career. Now, when I was born and raised, I pretty much thought that the world ended at the U.S. borders, and that's where you would do business. Uh, However, about midway through my business career, all of a sudden my eyes became very wide open, and by that I mean I realized when I had a significant management position with a company that the products that we were selling in the United States also had the significant opportunities associated with them in international markets, and the uh, the world became my oyster at that point. And from that point forward, anytime I became involved with a product or a business, I looked at the market for those products, not just in the United States, but around the world. But let's begin here. Let's talk a little bit about why it makes sense to get involved internationally. One of the biggest reasons why you would want to get involved internationally is you can lower your costs associated with your products and therefore make more profit. How's that happen? Low labor costs. That's a big reason why uh, we buy so many goods from other countries. Is their labor costs are significantly below ours. I mean, fact of the matter, all the clothes we wear, probably 99.9% of them, are made overseas. These clothes used to be made in the United States, but uh, manufacturers found that they could do it at a much lower cost by having their manufacturing located in overseas markets. So how do you get started? How do you get started? There are a bunch of experts out there that can help you figure out how to attack the international markets. One of those is called an export management company. Uh, Essentially, what an export management company does is helps new companies find export opportunities. Uh, this is again uh, quite a exciting area to explore. I remember uh, we were doing business in the United States, and we had this like really cool digital editing product, and we wanted to move worldwide with it. And but markets like South America, where we had absolutely no contacts, and were totally clueless about it. And I met a young professional woman who had worked in that market and had an export management company, and she basically took our product and ran. And as a result, we made several $1 million in incremental revenue that we wouldn't have made if we hadn't been in contact with that export management company. Okay, next one. What are you going to run into typically when you do business internationally? Well, one of the things you have to be cognizant of is uh, some companies or some countries are very protective of their labor forces and of their manufacturing industries, and as a result, they'll set up trade barriers in terms of making it a little more difficult for you to do business in that particular country. Things like tariffs quite uh, are quite common. The good news is that over time, countries have begun to figure out that it's better not to have trade barriers, and as a result, that if you reduce the trade barriers, your company's likely to benefit, especially if you trade with the United States. A good example of that is NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement, where essentially Mexico dropped its trade barriers, we dropped ours, and Canada dropped theirs, and right now, those three countries, United States, Canada, and Mexico, represent one of the most powerful trading alliances in the world. The other thing that's gone on is technology. You know as well as I do, because many of you have families in different countries and or have come from different countries, that technology allows you to communicate, daily, if not hourly, if not by the minute, with people anywhere in the world. Whether it's via Google, with Google Docs, that you can literally access any document that you store on Google Doc anywhere there's an internet connection in the world, or email or Facebook or any other of the emerging technologies, and those have all enhanced trade. So, are there other ways that you can make contacts with potential customers or potential suppliers? And the answer is yes. Governments like the United States government and state governments, even local governments, are very interested in their companies, in their countries or states or local cities, making contacts with potential customers around the world. So they will organize trade missions where they'll actually travel to those countries, and they'll arrange meetings with foreign agents, distributors, potential business partners. I remember, again, one time we were looking for a potential business partner in China, and we were able to tag along on a Department of Commerce trade mission to Beijing, and as a result of that trade mission, we made some outstanding contacts. Now, like anything else, when you're doing business internationally, you have to kind of take off your American hat. If you're born and raised in the United States, you tend to think that the world revolves around the United States and our customs and traditions, and the way we do what we do, and the way we do it is the way other countries do it. Wrong, big wrong. When you go to another country, they are very, very proud of their culture and traditions, and if you don't share that excitement and respect for their cultures and traditions, you might as well not take the trip to that particular country if you're interested in doing business. It's critical to learn about the cultures of the countries that you would like to do business with, both from a business etiquette standpoint, as well as the potential markets that you are attempting to penetrate. Because if you don't, you're just going to look like another dumb American trying to make some money, and I don't think that's what you'd like to come across as. Okay, sometimes there's a myth that you can take your product from the United States and sell it at the same price that you are in the United States. Again, a big wrong. Each market is different, and in some cases you may be able to charge more than you're charging in the United States for your product, and in other cases you may have to charge less. It's the basic economic model of supply and demand, and as well as taking into consideration the competitive environment. If you don't offer your product at competitive prices, you're going to fail, just like if you don't offer your products at competitive prices in the United States, your company's going to fail. Okay, we talked a little bit about trade barriers. One specific trade barrier that you need to be aware of is a tariff. And as this graphic shows, uh, the way a trade barrier would work is uh, uh, if, let's say, the uh, British are interested in selling British-made cloth uh, to the United States, uh, there'd be an additional tax they would have to pay before that good could be sold in the United States. And in this case, they're saying there would be a 25% tax on a $4 item. So the British would need to sell that product in the United States for $5, which they may or may not want to do, depending upon how competitive they feel their product is versus the American-made cloth at $4. But essentially, a tariff is a tax, usually defined as a percentage, and so you need to be aware of that. Okay, one of the other areas that you need to be sensitive to is the exporting marketplace. By exporting marketplace, what we're talking about here is moving goods across transcontinental borders to another country. So if you're exporting in the United States, you essentially would be shipping goods from the United States to another country, and that's all exporting is. The second thing we're going to talk about here is a freight forwarder. We talked a little bit about a freight forwarder before. What a freight forwarder does is basically somebody that handles your shipments overseas. As you might expect, it's quite complicated when you're shipping goods overseas because there's a significant amount of paperwork involved. There's a significant amount of paperwork involved on this end. To ship goods outside of the United States, there's a significant amount of paperwork involved on the receiving country end. So there are companies that specialize in shipment of international goods. One specific one is DHL. That's kind of where they kind of made their mark in the global shipment marketplace. But today, this vendors like FedEx or UPS also offer freight forwarding services and are quite good. Okay, when you are shipping overseas, one of the things you might want to do is come to grips with how you can classify goods and begin to segment markets. The SITC codes are codes that are available and defined by the Department of Commerce, as well as other international agencies from other countries. That is an agreement where you can define specific market segments and determine where your particular product fits into that segment. That's helpful, again, from a documentation standpoint, but also helpful from a marketing standpoint. Okay, when you begin to classify markets, one of the high-level things you want to do is classify the gross domestic product of a particular market. I remember when in one of the companies that I was involved with, we did an international marketing plan, and one of the ways we forced ranked the countries we were going to focus on was based upon their gross domestic product. And gross domestic product is basically the total value of all goods and services produced in that particular country. So you basically find out how big an economy is that you're trying to penetrate. The other factor you'll look for, and we've talked a lot about this in business classes as well as in entrepreneurship, is disposable income. And disposable income is not as shown in this particular image, a roll of dollars on a dollars on a toilet paper roll. It specifically means the individual consumer in your particular market, the money they have left over to spend after necessary expenses are paid. Call it mad money, right? After, basically this is defining, after you pay your living costs, your rent, your heat, your mortgage costs, your car payment, all those other kinds of good things. How much money do you have left over to buy iPhones or nice clothes or whatever, right? That is disposable income. All right, guys, that's it for this particular segment. Hope you enjoyed it, and make sure you've taken good notes. We'll be having a quiz on this tomorrow.